I'm Vijay Kalyancha from MBA 100, and here in this session we are going to discuss a strategy for getting 75 plus in TISSNET 2023 by working very hard in the last 25 days before the examination. So this session is certainly not for those people who are not ready to work hard in the last 25 days. So if that is not a part of your plan, just go away. This session is not for you. I've appeared for this test 16 times and failed every single time. I failed to fail in it. Alright, this is my 2022 scorecard. This is my 2021 scorecard. And now you can see my 2020 scorecard. Alright. Okay, what all are you going to get from this session? A 25-day study plan, PDFs of curated actual TISSNET questions of the period 2016 to 2022, that is till last year. PDFs of the relevant NCERT books needed for the static GK part of general awareness, a part ignored by most of you, but this is extremely important. Alright, not only for the TISSNET stage, but even for your personal interaction or personal interview. Alright, all relevant statistics on TISSNET 2022 as well as HRM and LR program offered by the Tata Institute of Social Sciences. This MA in HRM and LR is their most coveted program. Alright, this is how the test is. 100 questions to be done in 100 minutes. English 30 questions, mathematics 30 questions, general awareness 40 questions. A good part of this general awareness is from static general knowledge. So all those MBA preppers who believe that by just doing 3 or 4 months of current affairs, you would be able to score well, please be in for a shock. And many people believe that there is no negative marking here in this test. So it's going to be a cakewalk. If there is no negative marking, that is how it is for everyone, not only for you. Alright, so it is certainly not going to be a walk in the park for those people who are not ready to work hard. Alright, okay, 59,861 people had applied for TISSNET 2022, and out of those people, 50,433 people, that is more than 50,000 people, actually even appeared for it. But hey, those people interested in MA in HRM and LR, don't worry much. Only 19,076 people of those 50,433 had actually applied for MA in HRM and LR. So what does it mean? It means for every single seat in MA in HRM and LR, there were 281 people who wrote TISSNET 2022. So you think that you need to work hard? Ready? Are you? Okay, and this is how the cutoffs were for TISSNET 2022. General category 67, EWS 62, OBC NC 61, SC 57 and ST 50. 813 aspirants were shortlisted for the interview of MA in HRM and LR program in 2022. It means what? For every single seat, even at the interview stage, there were almost 12 candidates. So the idea is not just to clear the cutoff in TISSNET. Alright, try to maintain a healthy lead over your competitors. Alright, and moreover, the importance of general awareness is not confined to TISSNET. When you appear for the personal interaction, okay, what would help you? Your level of general awareness is certainly a very important part of your personality. Isn't that? Awareness of your surrounding. Alright. Now, when it comes to sectional cutoff, again you are lucky. In English, no sectional cutoffs. In mathematics, no sectional cutoffs. In general awareness, a nominal sectional cutoff of 14 for general EWS, Kashmiri migrant and armed forces category, and for OBC, NC and PWD category, again 12. But these cutoffs, these sectional cutoffs in general awareness are actually irrelevant. Alright, we shall see that very soon. Okay. Now, this is what the official syllabus is, and they take it very seriously. They ask you questions from almost all these areas. Alright. Okay. This is how is the syllabus for mathematics and logical reasoning, and this is how it is for general awareness. So even in general awareness, you will see that they ask you certain questions from political science, certain questions from sports, certain questions from Indian history, and even from environment. All right. Okay. Now, many people believe that when it comes to TISSNET, the general awareness is all about current affairs. Okay. So, just do 3 or 4 months of current affairs and score 25, 26. It's not that simple. Look at what happened in TISSNET 2022, 2021 and 2020. In 2022, there were only 14 questions on static general knowledge, alright. But in 2021, there were 21 and in 2020, there were 26 questions. So, if we take an average of the last 3 years of this section, the number of static general knowledge questions was actually more than 50%. Alright, wake up. Okay, similarly, many people believe that they ask you almost half of this section on government schemes and policies. Another myth. In 2022, they asked you as many as 9, but in 2021, 3 questions. In 2020, 3 questions. So, this area is important. I'm not saying that this area is not important, but to say that just mug up all government schemes and policies and be comfortable, okay, please do not do that. Same is the case with awards and films. So, you have the statistics in front of you. So, static general knowledge is very important. And how to go about it? These are the 10 NCERT books that I want you to do. And if you actually go through these 1660 pages over the next 25 days, okay, you will attain certainly a very different level. You will certainly attain a very, very different level. And links for the PDFs of all these books is given in the description of this video. Alright, we have given page numbers in order to motivate you. Isn't that? Okay, please do these books. It's a lifetime investment. You just need to do around 66 pages every day for the remaining 25 days. And it shouldn't take you more than 3 hours. Isn't that? Reading comprehension is something that you are tested on in almost all the exams that you people appear for. Alright, so why not to do 66 pages with good comprehension in 3 hours? That will work wonders on your reading comprehension as well. Isn't that? And this is going to help you in CMAT. This is going to help you in the personal interaction stage and in life. You would be needing these subjects to teach your kids in the future. Isn't that? Alright. Current affairs, you certainly need to do it for the last 9 months. Alright. Okay. Let's look at the mathematics and logical reasoning question distribution of TISSNET 2022. Arithmetic 11, data interpretation 6, combinatorics 4, number series 2, geometry 2 and like this. Okay. Another myth that TISSNET maths section is only about arithmetic. You can see only 11 out of 30. Even if you consider the complete data interpretation as part of arithmetic, still half of it. They ask you some questions from almost all the areas given in the syllabus. Let's look at TISSNET 2021 mathematics section. Again, arithmetic only 8, combinatorics 3, number series 3, geometry and mensuration 3, number system 2. Isn't it very well spread? Okay, TISSNET 2021. This continues, right? TISSNET 2021. These questions and these questions, okay, and TISSNET 2020, again arithmetic 8, more or less there's a constant, okay, data interpretation 7 questions, combinatorics 2, logs 1, algebra 4, like this, and here in one glance you get the distribution of the last 3 years. They do not ask you difficult questions, but they ask you questions from most of these areas, so you need to brush up the basics of almost all these areas. Please do not do difficult questions. They hardly ask you any difficult question on TISSNET. Alright. Okay. English. Reading comprehension 10. This is how it was in 2022. Sentence completion 8. Sentence arrangement 3. Vocabulary 3. Spot the error 3. And like this. And this is how it was in 2021. Again, very well spread. Okay. This is how it was in 2020. Okay. And here we have put them on this screen. English section in the last 3 years. So, reading comprehension 10 questions. Okay. Sentence completion 7 to 8 questions. Sentence arrangement, that is parajumble, 2 to 3 questions. Vocabulary based questions 3 to 4. Spot the error, that is grammar mostly, right? 3 to 4 again, critical reasoning 2 to 3. Critical reasoning questions here are very simple. Alright, even if you do not actually prepare for them, I believe you can do them. Okay? Alright. And there is something very wonderful about GK as well as vocabulary questions. You do not take more than 10 to 15 seconds to do them. You don't have to solve anything. In critical reasoning, you need to think, you need to read and think, you need to read even in vocabulary, okay, but you don't have to think. You either know or you don't. Alright? Please ensure that you know. Okay, please do this section from all past years TISSNET papers of the period 2016 to 22, and you may practice prepositions from animate material as well if you have got any. They ask you 2 to 3 questions almost regularly, at least 2 to 3 questions based on prepositions. Okay, you must revise vocab, including idioms, and just revise a book on basic English grammar. And you have got all those papers, the past year papers of English, in the description of this video. You will get a link. Okay, so how many hours of sincere and smart work you are ready to do in the next 25 days? On an average 10 hours, that will take you to 250 hours. On an average 8 hours a day, that will take you to 200 hours. 6 hours a day if you are a working professional. Okay, because on the weekends you can work much harder than what you can do on weekdays, right? And 100 hours. The last option, but option D is not relevant for you if you haven't cleared a single major MBA entrance this season. Alright, then you have to decide options A, B and C, or rather you have to choose from these 3 options. Alright, okay, this is how I look at your schedule over the next 25 days. Static GK, 2.5 hours more or less. Past year papers, 1 hour. Current affairs, 90 minutes. English, 120 minutes. Okay. Quantitative aptitude and LR, 2.5 hours again. And please bear one thing in mind. TISSNET, unlike a CAT, is not an aptitude test. It's a test of knowledge. I'm sure TISS would want to believe exactly contrary to what I'm saying. But TISSNET is necessarily a knowledge test. It's not an aptitude test. So you need to know. Alright, so please maintain this. Most of you tend to do only those things that you are comfortable doing. So if you have never touched static GK, there would be this withdrawal symptom. Why to do it? This person didn't do it, that person didn't do it, and still they cleared TISSNET and they probably got a seat in TISS finally also. Okay, please do not take inspiration from such people. You do not know the reality, maybe. Alright. Okay, there's one more thing. It's not easy to go beyond 50 in maths and English. Maths and English put together, they ask you 60 questions, worth 60 marks. It's not easy to go beyond 50. Please keep that in mind. And I was telling you some time back that 14, the sectional cutoff of 14 in general awareness is actually redundant. Why? Let's say you do not clear that cutoff in general awareness. Okay, you scored 13. 13 is the maximum for a general category candidate who would not clear the cutoff. Alright, let's say you score 60 on 60. Okay, so your total score would be 73 and you will just be clearing the cutoff. But scoring 60 on 60 in QA and English put together is almost impossible. Why? Quite possible there is one idiom that you do not know. Quite possible there are 2 words that you do not know. Quite possible you messed up a question or 2 in quantitative aptitude, and very important, quite possible that TISS messes up 2 or 3 questions. Alright, on an average there are 2 to 3 incorrect questions every year on TISSNET. Please. Alright, so practically let's say you score 55 in QA and English. In mathematics and English you score something like 55 and you score 13 in general awareness. You will somehow just be clearing the cutoff. Okay, that too with a lot of risk. Alright, and in the final selection you will hardly stand a chance. Okay, I would not say that you would not stand any chance, but then it would be a very uphill task. Okay, so the idea is to be convinced about one thing, that sectional cutoff or no sectional cutoff, in order to get a healthy score, anyway you need to cross 17, 18 in general awareness, at least 17, 18. Okay, we shall come with different models for obtaining a particular score in a while from now. And in the last 3 years, it has become very difficult to attempt all 100 questions on TISSNET. There's no negative marking, so almost everyone marks each one of the 100 answers, and that is how it should be. You also have to do that. Okay, but the problem is, by attempt I mean conscious attempt, reading the question and then doing it. It has become difficult to attempt all 100. Okay, though I'm someone who is not much in practice of appearing for tests. I appear for many tests, but I get my test practice only in the examination centers. Okay, so but I have huge experience, right? Plus subject knowledge. I also struggle to complete the paper in 100 minutes. Earlier it was not like this, okay, but that is how it has been now. All right, so please do not waste any time. Okay, you will be almost sailing through the paper. All of a sudden, there would be a difficult question. There would be a passage that you may not be very comfortable with. There can be a set of data interpretation questions where probably 2 questions would be very difficult to do. All right, so ultimately, when it comes to doing all 100 questions in 100 minutes, for the last 3 years at least, it hasn't remained a walk in the park. All right, okay. Ideal time distribution, and please do not laugh at this suggestion. Mathematics and logical reasoning 55 minutes, English 35 minutes. Please do not forget that there are 2 passages to read these days, okay? And invariably, one out of these 2 passages, either the passage would be difficult or the questions. You will get very close choices. At least 2 of the choices would be very close. So it appears to me that they intentionally make at least one of the passages difficult. All right. General awareness, you should be able to attempt all 40 questions in 10 minutes. Why should it take more than 10 minutes? Well, you can take 12 minutes. But if you give 15 minutes to general awareness, there's a problem. You need to do it, and you need to do it very fast. You don't have to solve anything there, right? So ideally, though, of course, I mean, 5 minutes here and there, that differs from person to person, individual to individual, right? But more or less, this is how it should be. Maths and LR, 55 minutes. English, 35 minutes. General awareness, 10 minutes. Okay? And general category TISSNET cutoffs in the last 4 years. And if this is how the general category cutoffs have been, so this pattern will more or less be followed by other categories as well. Do you see the decline? 75 in 2019, 73 in 2020, 68 in 2021, 67 in 2022. Didn't I tell you just 5 minutes back that it has become difficult to attempt all 100 questions? Okay, please keep this in mind. Please keep this in mind. All right. Okay, and keep one more thing in mind. The idea is not to just clear the cutoffs. We should target at least 8 to 10 marks over and above the cutoff mark. Isn't that? Because do you want to get 2-month glory that this person cleared cutoffs in TISSNET? Ultimately, the idea is to take admission. Isn't that? No one fills this TISSNET form with the idea of just clearing the TISSNET, except for Vijay Kalyan Jha. Right? You need to get admission as well. And in order to ensure that, please try to get that you get cutoff plus 8 to 10 marks. All right. And I've been telling you, I've told you already 2 or 3 times during the course of this video that TISSNET invariably comes with 2 to 3 erroneous questions. So actually your paper is not of 100 marks, is of 97, 98 marks. All right. Okay. All right. Now, distribution of my own scores over the last 3 years. I told you that's not that easy to cross 50. Okay. In quantitative aptitude and English, that is maths and English put together. Okay, so this is how I scored in the last 3 years. 56 out of 60 in maths and English in 2020. Okay, 45, only 45, mind you, in 2021, only 45 out of 60 in maths and English. I'm equally good or equally bad at each of these subjects, maths and English. Okay? There have been occasions when I crossed 99.9 percentile in mathematics as well as English separately on CAT. Alright, despite that in 2021, I got 45 out of 60. And you know, the main reason behind this, I was not able to attempt all questions. In fact, I was not able to attempt one entire DI set, and that is how it was with most of the good aspirants. Please keep that in mind. In 2022, I was forced to work harder on maths and English because my general awareness hadn't gone well, and that you can make out from my score also. From 27 in 2021, it fell to the level of 21 in 2022. Alright, and keep one more thing in mind. I can score 23, 27, 21. Not that these are good scores. Please do not take any inspiration from my general awareness scores at least. Whatever I managed to get on the basis of my static general knowledge. I would not be reading the newspaper with the purpose of clearing an examination. Okay, so my current affairs score has never been that great. Okay, unless until I decide to study for 2 to 3 months just current affairs for the purpose of scoring in the examination. Alright, so you need to do static general knowledge as well as current affairs in order to score well. In my opinion, each one of you should target not less than 27, 28. Okay, in general awareness section. Alright. Okay, now I'm giving you 3 ways, or rather, let's look at 3 ways of scoring 75 or maybe 80. The most practical way to look at it. Case 1, case 2, case 3. Case 1, maths 25, English 25, general awareness 30. Okay. Case 2, maths and English put together 45. Alright, general awareness 35. Case 3, 20 in maths, 20 in English, 25 in general awareness. Case 3 will take you nowhere. Let's not discuss that. Of case 1 and case 2, which one is more doable? You know, crossing 30 in general awareness is a Herculean task. Alright. So, in our opinion, in my personal opinion also, case 1 is 10 times more doable than case 2. So, try to get around 30 in general awareness and 25 in each of maths and English. Alright, and if you try to score 30 in general awareness, take my word for it, that cannot happen without you working on your static general knowledge. Alright, case 3 is extremely risky, fraught with dangers. Okay, alright, the most impractical way to look at your target, I'm Shahanshah of maths and English, I'll score 55 there. I will score just 20 in general awareness, or maybe if it's my day 30. In my opinion, that probably would not work. I wish you all the best for 55 plus in maths and English. Okay, you must aim something like that, but you must aim for something like at least 30 in the general awareness section as well. That is all that I'm trying to say. The idea is not to discourage you from aiming high. Okay. You should not be aiming for something like 55 in maths and English in order to cut down your efforts on general awareness. That is all that I'm trying to say. Am I clear? Alright, now some mundane details. Reservation, of course, OBC NC 27%, SC 15%, ST 7.5%, EWS 10%. Supernumerary seats anyway, these seats do not bother you because they're over and above the 68 seats. But what about these seats? Alright, in none of the categories, you have even 25 seats. Please keep that in mind. Okay? Alright, now course fee 1,89,000 for 2 years, not for 1 semester. Okay, so when it comes to return on investment, there is hardly any good program in the entire country that gives you this kind of return. Alright? Okay. Now, even when it comes to the final cutoff of MA in HRM and LR, final admission cutoff, Alright, for general category 74.07%. It means people who got through, they got almost 80% in the second round. Alright, for armed forces, wards of armed forces candidates also it was around 70%. For EWS, KM categories also, for most of the categories, the final cutoff for admissions was around 70%. Okay, why am I emphasizing on that 70%? Because the cutoff, the maximum cutoff for TISSNET was 67%. Alright, so most of these people would have got not less than 80-85% in the second round, regardless of their categories. Can you perform like this in the second round if your general awareness is not sound? Is that possible? Well, not in my opinion. Okay. And as I was recording this session for you, this happened. You know who is this lady? It's Shafali Verma. It has happened for the first time that India has won an ICC tournament in women's cricket. Alright. So, how many of you are going to be Shafali Verma 3 months down the line? All the best. Please follow us on Telegram, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I do not know if there is any other gram. And if you like the session, please give us a thumbs up. Share it with your friends as well as enemies. And please do subscribe to this wonderful channel. Thank you.